Today I fucked up by batch cooking. So I live with 3 housemates and our fridge tends to be full of containers. I had decided, since I am chronically ill and struggle cooking food every day other than simple pasta, which is rather boring, that I would batch cook this week. So I made 2 dishes, one of which was a wonderful pie that I ended up eating half of before putting in serving size containers. This meant I'd put about 5 containers of meals for myself on the shelf I'd cleared out for my stuff in the fridge. To be good, I'd reused those crappy takeaway plastic ones so they looked like leftover takeaway, which was my mistake. One of my housemates decided to clean out the fridge and got rid of all of the leftover takeaway containers and other moldy things. You guessed it, my batch cooking, since it was in those containers, was also thrown away, since I hadn't thought to say those weren't old takeaways but instead my food. Too long didn't read. I batch cooked a week's worth of food and reused takeaway containers, so a helpful housemate threw them away with the other takeaway containers. I'd say it was your housemate that done fucked it up, my friend. I always sniff check everything before I throw it out. Your roommate could have done that. They need to be more careful of what isn't theirs, or just be courteous enough to ask first. Sounds like an honest mistake to me. Unfortunate nonetheless. Absolutely amazing that the conversation became about containers. The real problem is lack of communication, not the stupid containers. Oh no. I'm disabled and also chronically ill. I do this sometimes too when I get a wild hair up my ass. Thank God I'm the only one who cleans. I would be so upset. I'm sorry for your loss, sad face. Today I fucked up by sending my vet dick pics. This was very recent. So, I got a new dog, yay, and she was adopted without being fixed. Roughly the same time that I scheduled her spay, I also had elective surgery that involved drains in my pubic area and swelling of my penis and scrotum. Cool, huh? Both of these institutions were pretty modernized to today's standards, so they often communicated via text and email. I made the unfortunate mistake of saving neither in my contacts list and just remembered who they were by context. So I send a text saying I'm worried about my drains to what I thought was my doctor. They respond and say, drains? Can you please send pictures of what you're talking about? I should have sensed something was awry, but I was probably multitasking as I always do and just not paying attention. So I go ahead and take pictures of my pubic area and my dick and send them in a reply. Shortly after they reply, I'm so sorry, this is your vet clinic. I immediately asked them to delete the pictures and they oblige. However, I like this vet and I'm sticking with them, but I can't help but wonder every time I deal with the, almost exclusively women, staff, if this is one of the few who probably saw my bruised, disgusting flaccid penis. Too long didn't read, confused bet's surgery with my own and sent post-op pics of my dick to the vet. I've gotten some weird dick pics, and let me tell you, more than anything it's your intentions behind sending them that matter. If you can laugh at yourself and allow them to laugh with you, there's probably no real harm done to your ego. Frankly, I would appreciate someone who could recover from that. I hope you get feeling better soon. That sounds like a painful surgery. Same department, different species, all in a day's work for the vets. No need to wonder. Expect they all saw it. On the bright side, these are people who neuter rabbits and such like, so in comparison you probably aren't doing too badly. But today I fucked up. Concern mention these are people who neuter, however they do other things as well which are funny. Vet clinics also express anal glands in dogs. These are the glands that add a distinctive scent to excrement when they mark their territory. Some vets' office staff see how far they can make the fluid squirt. So, it's not all business. They have fun, but I am sure they were more concerned about your sensitivity in that region than the characteristics of Mr. Happy. Oh, you poor baby. I'm sure they'll forgive you. Hope you feel better soon. Today I fucked up by thinking I was clever in getting a new cell number. Obligatory. This happened a few months ago. Just before the pandemic hit, I moved from Nevada to Massachusetts. I had no intention of changing my phone number, but, by my luck, at the beginning of this year, Nevada opened up a new COVID vaccine hotline number. That number mimicked my cell phone number wholly, except for the fact that it was a 1 to 800 number and mine, of course, was local area code. This is where the problem began, as people either weren't paying attention and adding the local area code rather than 800, or were simply dialing without adding the 800, and as such, I was receiving 40 to 50 calls per day about when can I get my COVID vaccine, often at odd hours of the night, as there is now a 3-hour time difference for me. After about 2 weeks of this, I could no longer deal with the constant calls, and subsequent voicemails. I had even set my voicemail box to inform people that I was, in fact, a private citizen and that if they were calling about COVID, they needed to hang up and dial 1 to 834X, and they still left messages. So I decided I would bite the proverbial bullet and change my number, having to inform all of my contacts and update my information on every service and utility provider. As I browsed available local area phone numbers, one popped up that caught my eye. It ended in 0000. Clever, I thought. This will make it easier for me to remember, and it stands out as I do occasional gig type work. And if you see that 0000 ringing on your phone, you'll know it me, if I wasn't already saved in your phone. Well, that was the screw up, because what I did not realize was that people often put in a local area number followed by 0000 on online registration forms as a means to trick registration forms into accepting their information without actually giving out their real info. So I went from getting everybody's COVID vaccine calls to getting everybody else's spam phone calls and texts. TL/doctor, changed my phone number after moving to a new state, thought I was being clever getting a number that ended in 0000, now I get everyone's spam calls and texts. Subscribe to some prize draws to see if you can use that to your advantage. My phone number has all the same digits as a Pottery Barn store with 2 numbers flipped. I get so many calls. Changing your voicemail doesn't really work because people hang up immediately when they notice it's a recording. What's even more irritating to me is the people that leave voicemails multiple times. I specifically call out being a private citizen that is not associated with any business. They still leave voicemails. What's worse is their own San Francisco-based headquarters calls my number instead of their store. I used to have a phone number like 647-5100 and there was an Ace Hardware that was 643-5100. I'd get calls like, hey, do you have an 11/16 THS socket in 3/8 inch drive? Just a minute, let me check. Yep, got it. I used to have a number 1 digit off for a local Domino's pizza. Pain in the ass. I got so sick of it I started taking orders and telling people if it was not there in 30 minutes it was free, lol. I once had a phone number that was 1 number different from that of a popular local restaurant. Eventually got tired of correcting people and just started to take dinner reservations. If they didn't even ask whether they had the right number and just told me they wanted a table at a particular time, I would tell them okay, that belongs on r/petty revenge.